Hello everyone, welcome to HorBenTV. I have a wonderful topic I want to talk to us about today. It's something that has been in my spirit and I wanted to just share some pointers on how to succeed as a blended family. The question will be, what is a blended family, right? A blended family is a family unit formed when two adults with existing children from a previous relationship or marriage come together to form a new family. I am actually in a marriage that has a blended family. And I want to just tell you guys some things that my husband and I did to help our marriage work and for it to be more productive and be a more successful marriage when you have a blended family. So the first thing that I want us to first of all understand is if you're a blended family, know that there's 46% of us in the United States as of 2025. So we have to understand that it is a very common thing that there are families that are blended. And you might be wondering, what are the things that would make your family succeed as a blended family? The first thing I want you to first of all understand is that the majority of children that are part of a blended family, they don't really wish to be in this position, right? And what happens is, as us adults, we're in a relationship that did not work out, and maybe a marriage did not work out, and we had children from that relationship. So now we have a new spouse, and we're starting a new family. And of course, depending on the age group of your children, it's a very difficult situation, but it's manageable. So let's just go through the things that my husband and I did that helped us to succeed. And of course, it's a journey. There's no end to the journey, right? But these are just some tools that I think would be a blessing to anyone that is actually watching this video. The first thing I want us to talk about is that as a step parent, right, you could be attacked, but your partner has to be the one to stand up for you. What does that mean? Majority of the time, especially if you have a teenage child that you're taking care of, like you are the step parent, you have to first of all know that because the child does not want to be in that situation, when they first come into your space with your husband or you and your wife, there will be some resentment, there will be some resisting. So you will feel attacked, but you have to make sure you don't take it personal. If you take it personal, then it would be really hard for you to build an authentic, real relationship with that child. You have to remember, this situation is a situation that they did not wish for. So you need a lot of patience and be ready to be attacked. Maybe you are the stepdad, be ready to be attacked by the biological dad. If you're a stepmom, be ready to be attacked by the biological mom. But it shouldn't change your standpoint on how you show up for that child, right? And the children, of course, there's a lot of manipulation that comes with that. And I'm talking about older children, maybe from like ages, 6 and up, where they have a mind of their own somewhat, and they know they can manipulate the situation, especially if the children leave from one household to another. So it's really important that, fights will come up, you being attacked will come up, but it's for you to stay calm and just to, try to control the situation. The other thing that has really helped in our marriage is the fact that we have to decrease and let the Spirit of God increase inside of us. Meaning that it's a situation where we find ourselves, and yes, it's very uncomfortable, but we have to allow the Holy Spirit to give us the promptings on how to treat these children. We have to allow the Holy Spirit to give us promptings on how to treat the biological parents. We have to even allow the Holy Spirit to help us on how to treat our spouses when it comes to these situations, because there's a lot of situations that are going to come up where your husband or your wife would have to deal with the biological parent of that child, maybe because your spouse is not around. So you need, the patience, you need the fruit of the Spirit to be able to deal with that adult. All right. The third thing is always start communication before bringing your child on board. It has to be one voice with your spouse. Let the biological parent be the one to voice out the changes. Let me give an example. Maybe you guys have a specific visitation time that maybe the biological parents have decided that the visitation time is going to change. So you and your husband need to first of all discuss these things and make sure you have one voice in that situation. And then when it's time to tell the biological child what the changes are, I think it's wise for the biological parent in the home to be the one to give that information, because depending on the age bracket of the child, you don't want to feel like you're imposing, a change on the child's life. So to make sure you limit more issues to come up, make sure the biological parent is the one doing most of the changes when it comes to schedule visitations, maybe activities of visitation, or maybe school, or change of plans with their biological parent that stays outside of the house. It's a really complicated situation, but it's doable. Hear this. The other thing that we want to remember is that it's hard to attach to the new when the child is holding onto something old that is going to come back. What does that mean? The child is probably thinking, if my mom or my dad didn't get married to this person, maybe my parents will still be together. So you have to make sure that you're patient with building relationship with these children. It's not an overnight thing. You have to give it time. And when I say give it time, it takes the Spirit of the Lord to help you to be patient. Meaning that, especially with older children, the reason I keep talking about older children is because when you have younger children, they really don't have a mind of their own, so you can kind of dibble and dabble and control the situation a little bit more. But when you have children at the age of 6, 7, 8, and they've known their biological parents for so long, and you come in as a stepmom or a stepdad, you have to be patient. You have to understand that these kids, their whole trajectory of life has changed. So by you being patient, you're welcoming them into your space bit by bit, but you're also allowing them to come into your space bit by bit. You're not trying to. You have to make sure these children understand that you're not trying to take the place of their biological parents. You're just present as an additional parent. It's almost like you're a bonus mom or you're a bonus dad, right? So you have to make sure that you're not comparing yourself to their biological parents. I always say your presence in the house will make a bigger difference than what the biological parents is doing outside, because you're the one that stays with that child 24/7. They might even have, visitation with their biological parents, but it's not 24/7. It's not all the time. So the time that you have with these children, maximize that time. Get to know them. It's not a competition with the biological parents. Because the moment where you fail to be a good stepmom or a good stepdad is when you try to take the place of their biological parent. It's when you try to compare what they're doing with that biological parent. You bring a different feel as a mom or a dad. You're not their biological mom, you're not their biological dad, but you bring something positive into the picture. So you just have to be okay with what you bring into the picture. And the reason why I'm specifying on one voice with your husband or your wife is because you might want to discipline these children, right? Because they live underneath your roof and you're an adult. You might want to discipline them. It's important that your husband and your wife, you guys have one voice. So when the discipline comes up, they don't go to their mom or their dad and report you to them. So as a couple, depending on how tight-knit you and your spouse are, depending on how you guys have, togetherness, depending on how much of one voice you guys have in your home, it'll determine if you're able to raise these kids in a way that will be beneficial to their life, in a way that will be productive to their life. So it's really, really important that in a home that is a blended family, as a child of God, one voice is important. 2, patience is needed. 3, you're not replacing the parent. You're just an additional parent who is going to make a great impact on that child's life. All right? I'm trying to be really quick. I want to make the video as short as possible, but very knowledgeable. The other thing that I want you to remember is adjust your expectations. As a stepmom or a stepdad, adjust your expectations so you don't keep getting hurt. Don't take things personal. When it becomes disrespectful, of course you can, try to talk about it with your spouse and definitely have a one-on-one with the child, but lower your expectations. The reason why I say you should lower your expectations is because these children are coming into a place where they don't know what to expect. They don't know if you're going to be a loving mom or a loving dad. They don't know if you're going to take advantage of what they're going through, of their vulnerability. They don't know if you're going to be an abusive mom or not, or an abusive stepdad or not. So when you lower your expectations, you're not disappointed. And I genuinely believe that every relationship is built with authenticity and is built with consistency. So whether you're a stepmom or a stepdad, if you're consistent in what you do, eventually they'll believe that you're a good person, right? Eventually they'll genuinely believe that you love them. But if your expectations are too high and you're expecting these kids to call you mom within a year, you're expecting them to call you dad within a year, your heart is going to get broken. But I think it's more special and it's more beautiful when they take their time to get to know you and they give you that gift of calling you mom or dad. But I think it's very, very important that you're patient with them. Give them the time to decide how they want to view you. It's nothing personal because, truth be told, they're going through changes. So you cannot have a high expectation of these children and think that they should act a certain way. Of course, disrespect is to be addressed. The disrespect part is to be addressed at all times because we have to discipline them. But when it comes to their emotional vulnerability, when it comes to their emotional availability, it's important for you to just give them time. So I plead with you as a stepmom or a stepdad, give them time to warm up to you. And unfortunately, you cannot tell them how long that's going to take. It's for them to determine how long that's going to take. But majority of the time, I realize that it takes a shorter period when there's consistency in your behavior of kindness. There's consistency with your behavior of being forgiving. There's consistency of your behavior of showing them grace. There's consistency in you giving them their space. There's consistency in you not trying to take their biological mom or their biological dad's place. You're just being available when they need you. And the fourth thing is study their love languages. I know for a sure fact that the consistency of love is you always showing up and being available. Even if you're just a listening ear to that girl or that boy, be consistent, listen, be there, encourage, love on them. But when you study their love language, you learn how to love them the way that they will accept that love. And I would say this, there are some love languages that you can realize that they might express those love languages with their biological parents, but that they might not express it with you. It doesn't mean that they don't love you. It just means they're taking time to trust you. For example, physical touch. Most children, their love language is physical touch. But it's going to take time for them to want to hug you. That's why I say bring down your expectations so you don't get hurt as a stepmom or a stepdad. So when you lower your expectations, if their love language is physical touch, they might not just be ready for you to give them a hug. And that's okay. If you study their expectations, maybe their love language is gift, right? If they love receiving gifts, there are some gifts that are very intimate. And if they have not felt comfortable with you yet, they might not receive some gifts from you. So as a stepmom or a stepdad, start off small. If you're going to give a gift, do something superficial. Don't do something too emotionally attached, right? For example, maybe they might have a teddy bear that their mom gave them or their dad gave them, right? And the teddy bear got torn, but they're really attached to that teddy bear. Don't judge them. It doesn't matter what age they are. They can have a teddy bear at 17, 18. Yes, it's possible. And you find yourself going to get them a teddy bear that looks exactly like that teddy bear. And you've been in that home with them for like a year. They're not really used to you yet. They might not receive that teddy bear. But maybe if you buy them a watch, or maybe if you buy them something like a gift card, for the fact that you see that their love language is receiving gifts, they would keep that in their mind. And they would remember that you're paying attention to what they like. So remembering their love languages, it goes a long way for you to learn how to love them. And also, it might sound like I'm talking only about the children. I have you parents in mind too, but we have to remember that us as adults, we can put up with more. Not meaning that we as adults, we are there to be a custodian over these children, right? And we have to remember at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that these children do not want to be in this position, right? Most of them don't want to be in the blended family position. But I guarantee you, if you make up your mind to be a consistent and a present stepmom, a consistent and a present stepdad, the kind of child that you're trying to bring into your space would slowly but surely become a reality. One thing that I want to make us understand is every child would love words of affirmation. Every child would love gifts. Every child would like quality time. For me, I think quality time is one of the best gifts you can give a blended family. Why? Because you're trying to make these two children from a mom and a dad to feel like they're siblings. So it doesn't take anything from any of them if you spend time together, right? So I believe that as a husband and a wife, you need to be intentional about family time. You need to be intentional about quality time. The more they spend time together, the more they become friends. I'm talking about the children now. The more they become friends. The more they relate with each other, the more they see each other as siblings. And yes, it's going to take time. It's going to take time. There's going to be a lot of fights because you might be tempted to take your own child's side, you know, but I think it's important that you're a logical thinker when it comes to conflict resolution in your home. So there's so many things we can talk about blended family, but what has really helped us is that we need to be patient in this situation. We need consistency in this situation. We cannot compare ourselves to any of the parents that are outside of the house, because the parents outside of the house, they play their own role. But you living with those children, you play your own role. So do not compare with anyone. Continue being the person that is kind. Continue to be the person that is thoughtful. Continue to be the parent that is stern in what you believe in. And make sure that the rules that you and your husband or you and your wife has set in your home is followed. And be ready not to be liked all the time. But I guarantee you, when there's structure in a home, it's going to work out, but it's going to take time. And I want to plead with you, try not to exchange words with the parents, with the biological parents. Try for the person that had the child, with that person to be the one to discuss those things with the child. Don't put yourself in a position where you get disrespected. And that is why it's very important for spouses to have one voice. So when there's something that needs to be talked about, once you have accepted with your spouse in the home, the spouse now can go outside and talk to the other parent. There's a lot of things we can talk about this, but this is the little knowledge that has helped my husband and I to be able to be successful as a blended family. So I hope this was a blessing to you. Please leave some questions at the bottom and I'll be more than happy to cover specific topics. But one thing that will really, really help you is forgive. Constantly forgive. Forget that it's a blended family. Remember that it's a family. Every family forgives. The more you forgive, the more you show grace, the more the love of God can continually flow. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day and God bless you. And I pray for success in your blended family journey. Mwah.